On the 5th of December 2021, it came to my attention that Karu's channel had been deleted, along with all the mapping videos that were on it. I promptly began a search and rescue operation, and I recovered a bunch of videos that I felt were important. However, I failed to understand why Karu felt the need to delete the channel and throw all his work away. He had not said why he left, leaving the community in the dark. However, many people, including me, want to know what happened. My guess at the time was that it was because some videos were inaccurate, since I vaguely recalled a conversation in Yen's Discord server where one user said that Karu had deleted some videos after they were claimed for being inaccurate. However, I wasn't satisfied with that. Over the next days I got obsessed, and my desire to know what happened snowballed into this video. I began interviewing people who I believed would know something. In total, I talked to 9 people. In this video, I will be talking about the history of Karu's channel and give my theory as to why Karu left. First, I want to give an idea of what a typical video mapper is like. There are exceptions, but the video mappers are generally young, socially introverted males. They will begin video mapping at about the age of 15 to 16, or more rarely at age 12 to 14. Many leave when they go to university. Video mappers often communicate with each other via Discord. There's not one single server, rather there are many servers. And there's also a sizable overlap between the video mapping community and the Paradox game communities. Because most video mappers are male, I will be referring to Karu as a he throughout this video, although strictly speaking, Karu's gender is unknown. Alright, so Karu's channel was created on the 4th of October 2018. At first, this channel focused on making maps of the alternate history universe of Keizerreich, Legacy of the Weltkrieg. This first video that I could find covered the 1925 British Revolution from Keizerreich. Further conflicts from Keizerreich that he covered would include the German intervention in China and the Second Weltkrieg. He also made an alternate history where the Bolsheviks are defeated in the Russian Civil War, and another video covering a war from Call of Duty. As far as I'm aware, Karu's first historical video was released on the 21st of February 2019, covering the Middle Eastern front of World War I. I left a comment criticizing it, saying that Afghanistan was actually neutral in this conflict, although Karu defended it because it was technically a vessel of the non-neutral British Empire. British involvement in Afghanistan was actually pretty relaxed, and I suppose that an argument could be made either way. Despite the criticisms I had, I still subscribe to the channel and tune in for the videos to come. Future videos will cover the August Revolution in Vietnam, the First Indochina War, the American Revolutionary War, and the First Weltkrieg from Keizerreich. The Weltkrieg video was actually given a shoutout by the Keizerreich Twitter account on April 5th, though the Keizerreich Discord will describe the video as not law friendly on the 7th. Throughout the existence of Karu's channel, some users tried to contact him via Discord. Neutronix actually tried to contact him on Discord 3 times or so, through no avail. Neutronix actually believes that Karu didn't have a Discord account at all, although that is not true. By April 2019, Formosa had uploaded a preview of her upcoming video on the Warlord era. Karu noticed the video, and in mid-April he began contacting Formosa to share information and talk with her about 20th century Chinese history. As far as I'm aware, Formosa was the only video mapper to talk to Karu via Discord. Karu will go on to make more alternate history videos covering the Syndicate Revolution, the Chinese Civil War, and the NTZ War, all three from Kaiserreich. Then there was a shift in content when Karu made a video about the Japanese invasion of the Dutch East Indies. This was Karu's preparation for a video on the Pacific War, his most ambitious project yet. He then continued with a video on the Japanese invasion of Burma, and after a brief distraction in Ethiopia, Karu then went on to make more videos on the Pacific War project, covering the Japanese invasion of British Malaya, the Battle of New Guinea and Solomon Islands, and the Soviet-Japanese War, before finally releasing his magnum opus, the Pacific War, on the 17th of June. Karu's last message to Formosa was on the 30th of May, talking about the upcoming video about the New Guinea campaign. About a month later, around the time the Pacific War video was uploaded, Karu deleted his Discord account without explaining to Formosa as to why. Formosa agrees with me that it's likely that Karu just needed her help with the Pacific War video, and when it was done, he had no reason to stay on Discord and thus deleted his account. On the 28th of June, Yan Shishan released a video on the Chinese Civil War, using Karu's video on the First Indochina War as a source. Not very important, but I'll note it anyway. Over the course of July, Karu made 2 more videos covering the Eastern Front of World War I and the Interwar Eastern Front. Late in the month, he made a decision to delete some of his videos, resulting in a loss of 148,000 views. It's unclear what these videos were. Yeast recalls them as being videos relating to Kaiserreich, as well as Axe's ambitions after World War II, although several of those videos were still online as of August. Karu's last video was on the Korean War, released on the 3rd of August. Over on Discord, the video was met with praise, and at the time, none of us knew that it would be his last. Over the following months, Karu is still thought of as being an active member, an active video member, with users saying stuff like, "Karu is great." That will change starting on the 25th of December, when the Gilliams asks, "Anyone wonder whatever happened to Karu? He hasn't uploaded a video in over 4 months." From this point on, users begin to refer to Karu in past tense to reflect Karu's inactivity. Sometime in late 2019, most likely after Karu made his last video, a user named eClick left a comment on Karu's videos on Vietnam. He criticized Karu's video for inaccuracies. Among other mistakes, Karu misinterpreted actual North Vietnamese control as being mere guerrillas, and also showed some areas directly controlled by the North Vietnamese as being controlled by France. When I asked eClick if his criticisms was particularly aggressive, eClick told me that he refrained from using insults. A few weeks or months later, in January 2020, Karu deleted several of his videos, including, according to eClick, his videos on Vietnam. Karu never directly responded to eClick's criticism, but it's very possible that eClick's criticism left an impression on Karu. And although he isn't certain, eClick believes that it's possible that there is a link. I will be playing a voice clip from me and eClick's phone conversation. eClick's voice is muted out and replaced with Microsoft Sam because eClick requested that his voice be taken out of the video. Karu never directly responded to your comments, is that true?
Yes, that is true. I never got a response, and at some point I was checking out his channel and many of his videos were disappeared. most notably his alternate history videos in Nazi-occupied Eastern Europe and Asia, with the Reichskommissariats. These disappeared, and, of course, all the Vietnam videos also disappeared, without me ever getting a response. I don't know why. Maybe I flamed him into doing that, maybe there is a connection, but I am not sure about that. It has just, to my knowledge, it has pure coincidence. But there might be a connection between both events.
Alright, okay. Were you particularly aggressive in your response? Would you say that?
I may have said that it was very inaccurate, that he should have done better research. But I don't think that I used insults.
Alright.
I am pretty sure that I didn't use insults back then.
Alright. Using the Wayback Machine, I cannot confirm if the Vietnam videos were deleted back in July, or if they were indeed deleted in the January 2020 deletion wave. Other parts of eClick's account, such as the statement that Karu's video on planned German Reichskommissariat was also deleted in July, and be verified, lending him credibility. Videos deleted in January 2020 include Axis war plans, some alternate history videos, including Kaiserreich ones, minor campaigns of the Pacific War, and his video on the Italo-Ethiopian wars. Over the course of February to March 2020, not much happened. The Kaiserreich wiki apparently added Karu's videos as illustrations, but that's it. On 0014 Central European Time, shortly after midnight, on the 21st of April 2020, a user entered Jens server named Karu. About 10 minutes later, Gilliam screams, "Holy shit, Karu is alive! Bruh!" All is gone. The user quickly left after joining. Even as late as July, Gilliam talks about how Karu had briefly joined Jens' server. But alas, it was not Karu. After a bit of research, it just turned out to be a troll by a user named Solchester. Solchester's troll account later rejoined under a different username on the 3rd of May, and the troll account now sits in that server under the name Jeff Law. I was able to figure out who the real owner of the account was because Solchester had briefly allowed someone else to borrow it, and the borrower revealed who controlled the account and spilled the beans. About 10 hours after not Karu joined, I decided I needed to fill in my Frontline Maps playlist, particularly by re-adding Karu's video on the Italo-Ethiopian wars. I found it on another website, billybilly.org, basically Chinese for YouTube. I detailed how I found the video in the comment section of the re-upload. Over the rest of 2020, not much else happened. On the 17th of October, the Kaiserreich wiki stopped using Karu's videos and illustration. Perhaps I should also mention the reception towards Karu. David JL123 had long disliked Karu for using uniform and vents too much. Other video mappers were more positive towards Karu. In 2020, Yan Shishen described Karu as having been probably the best mapper, and DRM described Karu as a god at mapping. In the next year, Yen and DRM will come to alter their positions, with Yen describing Karu as only being the 8th best mapper, and with DRM saying that he always hated Karu. That's not even true. No. DRM exposed. From January to November 2021, not much happened in regards to Karu. There was the occasional mention. Olibai speculated that Karu may have left the university. Also, Tigerstar used Karu's video on the Intel Eastern Front as a source in his video on the collapse of the German Empire. On 1 December 2021, after not uploading any videos for 2 years, Karu dropped a bombshell by deleting his channel and all videos on it. It was completely unexpected and a shock. With no official reason given for deletion, we only stand to guess as to what happened. First of all, I want to rule out the idea that Karu's channel was terminated by YouTube. If a channel is taken out due to copyrights, you'll get a message saying this account has been deleted for a violation of YouTube's terms of service, or if for another reason, you can get this account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy prohibiting content designed to harass, bully, or threaten. Channels that were deleted by the owner yield this channel does not exist, and that is what happened with Karu. After reviewing all the evidence I could find, I have come to one theory as to why Karu deleted his channel and why he waited a whole 2 years after making his last video. Suppose that in 2019 Karu subscribed to either me or Jens Shen. We were both active YouTubers at the time, and it's very possible that Karu will have received one of us in his recommended feed. Video mappers often watch each other's content, and Karu is also known to have watched other video mappers, although not specifically me or Yen. There is no way to confirm if Karu subscribed to either me or Yen, since neither of us ever received comments from Karu. Since Karu had his subscriptions hidden, it can also not be ruled out. If Karu did subscribe and continued to stay a loyal viewer, it is very possible he will have learned about a video mapper named 4Thirds, either through Yen's community posts promoting 4Thirds video on the Yuan Ming transition, or through my video giving a shout out to 4Thirds' second Sino-Japanese War video. 4Thirds released his video on the second Sino-Japanese War on the 22nd of November 2021, less than 10 days before Karu deleted his channel. If Karu saw this video, he may have felt as if his work on the Pacific War had been invalidated. Karu did care a lot about that video, making a bunch of other videos in the research process and even consulting with Formosa about China-related matters. It was his biggest project, and as we've seen with E-Clique and the Vietnam War, Karu is likely willing to delete videos if he deems them to be banned. Karu is not the type of YouTuber who will just throw an inaccurate tag to the title. It was all or nothing with him. The strongest evidence for this theory is that 4Thirds' second Sino-Japanese War video was released less than 10 days before Karu deleted his channel. Other parts, such as the assumption that the video will be enough to make Karu delete his channel, or that Karu discovered 4Thirds through me and Yen, are just educated guesses based on Karu's past behavior or behavior from other video mappers. I find this theory to be very possible, maybe even likely, but without harder evidence it will remain just a theory. I really don't know how else you'd explain Karu's channel being deleted in December 2021 after 2 years of inactivity. It fits, definitely, but just because I can't think of another explanation doesn't mean one can't exist. I know, far from everything. So, that is all I have to say about the Karu case. I'd like to thank all the people who helped me and chimed in what they knew. If you'd like to see Karu's videos, I have a playlist containing them in chronological order. If you know of any other Karu videos on YouTube that I should add, or have any other theories regarding Karu, tell me in the comments below. I'll read them.